back then in the 80s, late 80s. We had a CD player, my dad had a CD player, but his was mostly like Jean-Michel Jarre and Alison Moyet. Of course, everyone had Brothers in Arms by Dire Straits, but yeah, so mine was still records, cassettes, tapes were cheap as well for a kid.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then it was just, yeah, hip hop was the big thing for me. And then from hip hop it went to, like I say, like house, rave. Yeah, I went to all the illegal raves down there because that's where they all were in the home counties. So I did all of that. And yeah, just stuff really. They just carried on buying records even and CDs, but vinyl's never gone out of love for me.
So when did it go from being that to actually DJing in front of people?
First time I DJed in front of people was via college, so that would have been about 92, something like that. Okay. And then I left college and I got a job. All my friends went to uni, I didn't, but I had the uni life at the weekend, which was fantastic. But I had a bit of cash because I was working. But from there I got involved with a lot of local bands in Oxford. So I did a bit of roadieing for Radiohead, Supergrass, and then I also did, there was, in Abingdon, there was a place called the Old Jail, which is now flats, but it was used to be a massive leisure centre, and so those bands played there as well, and I did the after show parties.
Right, okay.
So, and then there was a lot of breakbeat and trip hop and that sort of thing. Lots of remixes of Primal Scream and Chemical Brothers when they first came out. So that was the stuff I was playing then. And then it just sort of, and then I'm trying to think what timeline. But I think from there, I still bought vinyl. We had house parties, with friends and theirs, and up in Manchester and Newcastle and down in Oxford, and I then moved to Bedfordshire with my wife, and so we had cellar party there where we had a big cellar. So just stuff like that really, and then I'd say DJing has become a bigger thing for me probably in the last 6 or 7 years, and I'm 48.
Okay.
So you can get back to it whenever you want because it's kids and whatever. But I never fell out of vinyl. Fell out of love with it.
Okay.
But it was just getting back into it and sort of, and now I'm just loving it.
So where did you get to, because I from a couple of DJs I've always known, they found, I intersected with DJs kind of like 99, and they were at that cusp of like, okay, because obviously the first time they're taking, as you probably know, massive bags of vinyls, and they're like, well, I can do this on a CD.
I've done that. I've done it with a USB.
Right, so
just don't like it.
No. Okay. So a DJ gig with each of you, you're actually carrying the vinyls around before you go.
Well, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and as we mentioned before this as well, the fact that last week I got, I got locked out of a car park at midnight, and I was stuck in the middle of Newcastle with two big boxes of records, and nowhere to go, and it was bloody gold. But luckily for my friend Scott, he very kindly came and picked me up. But when you're stuck there, and they are heavy.
So when you have this is interesting. So when you're doing a set, when you go like say with a collection of records, and then how the night goes, you'll pick up and just, or do you have like a set list in your head?
I usually know, well, when I know where I'm going to play.
Right.
I normally have always the first song in my head.
Right.
What I have to start with. Probably maybe the first 2 or 3 to be fair. But then it depends on who's listening, what the vibe is, what time of day it is. If it's an early start, I'm DJing next week up in Sunderland, a couple of weeks time in Sunderland. I've got one of the early slots. Everyone's got an hour, and mine's 6 till 7. And this is with Method Radio, where I've got a radio show, and so all the DJs from Method Radio are coming along to Wimbledon Place for a big Christmas party, and we're all playing. And I've got the 6 till 7 shift, so someone's got to have it. I'm quite happy. Just playing records, so I would know probably that it's only an hour slot. I would probably know exactly what I'll be playing for that whole hour.
Right. Okay.
But like last week, I was DJing for 5 hours, and so I knew the first couple of songs, and then from there you just take it from there. but I only had two boxes of records.
Right.
So you've got to make sure that you've got the right tunes.
See, the thing is, you must have a massive, almost like encyclopedic mind about music, and you must be able to pick out tunes. You know, your record collection must be pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's all right. It's okay. I'm proud of it. It's smaller than some people's, but bigger than others. So you know, it's. But yeah, it comes down to what the tunes are, and you sort of go, oh, this would actually fit quite nicely with this, or. And I've even done it. Well, I'm sure a lot of DJs have done it. You put it on the record. You put the record on the deck. You go, oh, actually no, it's not. So you've got to take it off and you put something else on.
Right.
You just sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
You've got any kind of go-to tunes you like to sneak in? Thinking, oh, I know you all want X, Y, and Z. That's kind of popular. But is there any kind of tune you think, oh, I'll stick that in? This is my favourites.
Right, anything Brand New Heavies.
Okay.
Because that's my go-to band, my favourite band of all time. Even got their logo tattooed on my arm as well. That's how big a fan of Brand New Heavies am. But I would say, well, mine and my wife's song is "Dream Come True" by the Brand New Heavies,
Right.
Which is an absolute killer. It's just a cracking tune. But I'd say for 2021, for me personally, anything on Big AC Records.
Okay.
Call Me Love, Abby Farrell, Nick Corbin, and a subsidiary of that, who she sings with him, is Emma Noble.
Right.
Those four artists this year have been absolutely amazing.
Okay.
There's a single by Call Me Love called Rebel and Thinking About You, just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Table Dancers by Emma Noble, which has been remixed by Smooth from Newcastle. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
And there's quite a, I mean, you're pretty good person to ask, and I've obviously chatted to Stephen, obviously, about Butterfly Effect, but there seems to be quite a, I mean, again, from an outside perspective, there's quite a sort of interesting scene going on around this part of the world at the moment. I mean,
Darlington's really good.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been in Darlington 15 years now, since I moved up north. And since, well, there was always something going on. I mean, you know, stuff before I got involved, you know, with music in the area, but Stephen's done an awful lot, you know, and I've got total respect for the guy. He's a lovely guy, but also what he's doing with Butterfly Effect Records is amazing.
Yeah.
And then you've got other people like Sarah Wilson and Rob Irish from Tracks, Dave Saunders and Claire from NARC and all those people. So there's loads, you know, and then you've got, you know, independent record shops like Sound Out Records and Stockton, all these sort of places, you know, all doing their own little bits. But there's a massive push in our area, you know. There's amazing artists in the northeast. Okay, I'm an honorary northerner now, which is what I keep being told by the rugby dads. But it's I'm proud to live up here, and I love it up here, and the music is amazing, and we've got such a buzz around it now.
So you managed to get the Proud Northern one, because that's what I'm saying. I lived in Leeds, and it was like, no, another 20 years before you get your Yorkshire pass.
That's not north.
Exactly.
I'm more north than Leeds. County Durham, man.
But Yorkshire, it takes you like, you know, I say like 30 years before you can get to be classed as a northern.
I'd say about a good 5 years ago, I was classed by the rugby dads as an honorary northerner. So yeah, I was quite pleased with that. I'm proud of that. So yeah, it's good.
But going back to sort of the Darlington sort of scene and stuff, which ties quite in really, because it's the other sort of angle where we wanted to talk to you about was you just obviously been given your award. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
You know what I mean? And it ties into that kind of thing. There's a very community-driven thing around Darlington. I don't know if because you're in the heart, you get to sense that, but you know.
Yeah, there is. Yeah. Well, okay. So the award was contribution to the arts by the Darlington Stronger Communities, which is amazing. I'd been nominated about 4 or 5 years ago, and I didn't win. But this year's, so the reason why I got this one was because along with just doing DJing and stuff like that, which is just a thing which I do for love, really, is I run Darlington Film Club at the Forum. Now the Forum is a music venue in Darlington. It's got studios, rehearsal rooms. Well, you know, because Seeing Demons are played there, you've been there as well. Amazing stage, the bar and everything. It's just a wonderful, it's got a great vibe to it as well, and everyone who works there does a fantastic job. But I'm also very proud to say that I'm a director at the Forum as well, so I'm not an executive director. So I put on gigs, like the Singing Demons, you know, with guys there, and sort of got them on. And I like putting on smaller bands, and I also like bringing original bands to the forum as well, to Darlington. I want to put Darlington on the map a bit more. But I also run Darlington Film Club, which is every single Monday, and I've done this for the last 10 years as a volunteer. And I just, you know, so we get people in, we show classic and cult films on the big screen at the forum.
Right.
And then I've also done various different events. I've had Susie Quattro there for a documentary. Flash Gordon came from America. Sam Jones was there. I've had various different Hammer Horror stars, Bond stars, Carry On stars. Hellraiser cast was there. I've had all sorts of people come along and do events. And yeah, so Film Club was very kindly nominated and we won.
So is that Film Club something that jammed in your head, or was that come together with a few minds to sort of get together?
Film Club, no, it was me. Film Club came about because we had an art centre in Darlington, which was opposite where I lived when I moved there. And unfortunately it closed because of costs and everything else. So there was a thing to try and keep it open, and Darlington for Culture was formed.
Right.
So I went along to the first meeting, and the art centre had this fantastic area with the slanted seating, you know, so everyone could, like a cinema, you know, mini theatre. It was used for comedy and theatre and bits and pieces. And I went to this meeting. They said, "Oh, has anyone got any ideas of what we could do with the art centre? Other things as well." And I said, "Well, you know, they shoot regular film. Once a week they showed a film, like an indie film or something." And I said, "Well, you know, people want to see classic and cult films that they haven't seen on the big screen, and show this." And they said, "Oh, okay, well, come to the next meeting with some ideas." I went along. I thought of the first 4 or 5 films, thinking, "Oh, I never saw that at the cinema." So I went back and they said, "Oh, do you want to give it a go?" And I went, "All right." And that was then, and now I'm still here. So the first film I showed on the big screen, which is a massive film, everyone knows it, and loads of people love it, is The Shawshank Redemption. Okay, everyone knows it, but it only became a hit on video.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, so this is pre-DVD as well, you know, because it wasn't a big hit at the cinema, so loads of people hadn't seen it. And then the first Christmas I showed It's a Wonderful Life, and various different people hadn't seen that for years. I mean, now you can go to all the big screen cinemas and they all show Die Hard and It's a Wonderful Life. They do that now, which in a way is sort of taken away from Film Club. And things are changing with Film Club anyway, because we've been going for 10 years, and you know, everyone has got on their phones or their tablets or their big TV screens and everything, you know, with everything with lockdown now and everything, so many different social media platforms, Amazon, Netflix, blah blah blah. So if anyone wants to see a film, they can just see it. So the numbers for Film Club have gone down, and so we decided we're going to go to once a month in 2022. But I'll still be doing events and putting stuff on, and I'm hoping that it all comes together, trying to have Darlington's first ever film festival next year as well.
Nice. So I think as well, I mean, you've got to bear in mind, as I was coming back to the other day, that, you know, almost one reason or another, everyone's become programmed now to stay at home and do stuff on their screen. So it's kind of, people don't want to. It's
amazing how quickly people have become programmed.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, it's I've just come at the end of 3 nights in a row of being out for gigs. I'm knackered, but if I don't do it, I won't get back into the habit of trying to go and see stuff again. And people, obviously people are worried because of what's happening, but for me personally, I couldn't just stay in home. I had to try and get back out and do stuff. You know, I don't play, excuse me, I don't play any instruments. You know, I'm not someone who's musically forthcoming, as in I don't really want to give any instruments a go, but I love playing music, and I've got a good ear for it, and I know a good tune, and I know how to, you know, when people want to dance, I can make them dance. So that's what I do.
So on the Film Club, I mean, you're talking a wide range. I mean, have you ever played any silent movies?
Oh yeah.
Okay, nice.
Oh yeah. Oh, so much so. Well, I'll tell you what we did do. I showed I'm trying to think what year it was. I I want to say 1920s or 1930s Japanese film,
Cool.
silent, and we had Vale, who also released an album on Butterfly Effect Records. Fantastic guy called Graham Seaman and his partner Graham Wilkinson, and they've also got a band called Golden Age of Nothing.
Right.
Highly recommend you check them out as well. They're on Butterfly Effect Records. But they came, so Graham's Vale thing came along, and they did the soundtrack live whilst the film was playing. And we got Graham hopefully coming back next year to do another one.
Cool.
So yeah, we have shown silent films, and yeah, I do all sorts. Local films. So I mean, there's a big community of film directors in the northeast as well. So I've had local films played. I've always given a platform. If anyone comes to me and says, "Could I show this at film club?" Yeah, absolutely, no problem.
Cool.
Done student films. I've done all sorts.
Okay.
So
it seems that you've got quite a wide range. That's refreshing to you, because that surprises me that you can go on all these people, you know, on these Netflix and stuff like that, and it's like, oh, you can get anything you like. Now you can't really.
Not really,
I mean,
no,
there's a
no.
lot of the old Batman panel. They just don't, for whatever reason, it's not getting shown at all. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you need to. Yeah, there's going to be a new generation, or even a generation which is, you know, I'm 48, but I mean I know people who are older than me, you know, making their first ever film.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
especially if everyone, you know, people are making films on their phones, and they're doing it in HD, and they're doing it, you know, whatever they need to do, and fair play to them. You know, give anything a go. That's the way I do it.
So do you have, being in charge of, do you have like executive decision on what gets played in on the film? So
Yeah.
It's
It's my film club, isn't it? So, yeah. I mean, I couldn't do film club without the people at the forum.
Right.
Also, my partner in film club, who helps a lot, is Kath as well. She's heavily involved. But when it comes down to it, it's usually my ideas. I sort of got things forward. I'm the one who goes, right, I want to try and get Flash Gordon to come along and do this. I'm the one who gets in contact with the people, and etc. etc.
So what was the last good film you saw?
Last good film?
Maybe you saw, you watched.
What, not a film club? Or at film club?
anything you
Oh, okay.
you personally.
Yeah, okay. I'll tell you what I did. It was bizarre. I watched recently, a couple of weeks ago, I did it over 2 days in my lunch hour because I'm working from home. I watched something called Three Hats for Lisa.
Okay.
And it's a 1960, I think it's about 64, 65, and it stars Joe Brown. It's a musical. I didn't think I'd like it. Absolutely loved it.
Okay.
So yeah, it was just random. I just there's a fantastic TV channel called Talking Pictures,
Right.
and they show loads of old stuff. So I've been sort of going through things like that really.
Do you have a wide interest in sort of films from around the world as well? Do you get to watch?
Oh
them?
yeah. I mean, I tell you what, one of my top 5 films now is a really old. I think it was either late 40s or early 50s. It's a film with Alec Guinness, who everyone knows from Star Wars and, you know, bits and pieces, whatever. But it's called The Card, and I'd highly recommend that to everyone to watch. And in fact, it's very, very prominent with today's society now as well.
Okay.
So I'd highly recommend it. It's a black and white film. You know, a lot of people turn their noses at black and white, but check it out. It's really good. It's called The Card.
Yeah,
And someone nominated that at Film Club. One of the regulars said, "Oh, have you seen this?" I was like, "No." So we got it in and we played it, and you know, I love it.
I tell you what, I really watched recently, and again, it goes back to that black and white thing, and I'm actually now sort of considering think it's actually better than the 80s version, was the 60s version of 1984. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
60s version?
Yeah, oh yeah.
No, I don't know that
There's
one.
an old
I knew the
black
84 was
Yeah, before you.
Richard Burton and people. Yeah.
No, this one's. I think it's more. It's kind of. I rewatched it last week, and it's more kind of spot on because they was doing that war generation in mind. So they're actually the people making it and they're starring. I mean, yeah, I know it's written like through rations and all that kind of stuff, and then more to it. Whereas the 80s one was like. Yeah, again, black and white films. And so many films that just.
I've got no problem with any of that.
That's the thing about life though at times. I mean, I often think, trust me, I mean, I love my films and stuff like this. And I got to thinking, there's just not enough hours in your life to watch all the films you really want to watch when you cut it through, when it gets to it. You know what I mean? Because there's always, you'll find a film, there's another film, there's another film, you know, it's
yeah.
like a fractal, it never ends,
Yeah.
is it? You know?
I think I've had to stop going to charity shops, to be fair, because you always find that, you know, if someone's just died and then the kids, you know, just sort of, you know, the son or daughter has just given their DVDs, the parents' DVDs away.
Yeah.
And you always find some classics in there, and you go, oh, okay. And I always buy things thinking, oh, okay, I can show that at film club, or I can do this, or you know.
I think it's one of the wisdoms of getting to the age we do, you get to. And I mean, again, I wish I could come back to myself in my 20s. I had a vinyl collection, I had a DVD collection, I had a video collection back in the day. You know, you just get rid, don't you? And you get to our point.
I didn't get rid of my
I know,
vinyl.
you're the wise one.
Yeah, I didn't get rid of that.
Do you know what I mean? Because I mean, I didn't sort of realise until you start flicking through it how much some of these original pressings are now going for.
Yeah.
Absolutely silly amounts of money. But you know, that's the wisdom of it. But you know, it's
I've got stuff which is, you know, worth quite a bit of money, but not, you know, not thousands of pounds. But I've got stuff which, you know, it's done all right. I've kept it all these years and stuff like that. But you know, my prized possession is my Flash Gordon soundtrack.
right. Okay.
It's signed by a lot of the cast and the crew. So yeah, it's just one of those. That'd be given to my second son.
And is there any? I mean, you sort of mentioned a few earlier on before we do wrap this up. Is there any sort of bands around here that you sort of like, you know, sort of you think, okay, that's worth listening to? When you mentioned a couple of Butterfly Effect, and I have to say, I think anything on Butterfly Effect is pretty.
I love the Butterfly Effect. Yeah, well, I went with Stephen on a couple of days ago. There's a new album coming out, Butterfly Effect, and it's all about Jimmy Corti from KLF.
Yeah.
He does a lot of, well, he doesn't do music anymore, he does art. And we went to the album launch. I went with Stephen and his wife Kath, and ended up DJing at that. And I didn't even realise there was one deck, no headphones, and some blokes with records. I didn't even know what was in there. Ended up DJing at the album launch on that, which was quite funny. So that was a good night. But anyway, so we went to this and we listened to the album, and it's fantastic, and it's all to do with the Estates, which is a travelling art exhibition of Jimmy Corti's. So I'd highly recommend checking that out. There's only 23 copies of the vinyl. So that's sold, that's gone, but it would be available digitally to check out. But also, I think for me, band-wise, I have the Seeing Demons all the time, without a doubt. Always like what they're doing. Wax Heart's Solidarity, they're good, I like them. Who else locally I might really enjoy at the moment? There's a band there's a guy to Luke Royalty.
Okay.
He's just been put on the tour with Jake Bugg in his support. So he played for a gig I put on last month as one of the supports, and now he's got this. He's worth checking out. Yeah, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Just check out Butterfly Effect Records. Yeah, that's what I would say. But also, you know, locally, I mean, there's so many bands in the Teesside and Durham area, and you know, anything that Smooth and Terrell are doing, anything what Weekend Sun are doing.
I mean, this sort of, I think it's a great way to wrap this up. I personally said it for a long time, I put it as a tag on time, but I think there's a new, because we, you know, like you mentioned, they've got looping back to the 90s, and I've seen scenes come and scenes go. I think right now, the bands that have put their asses on the line, for a better word, in the last 2 years are going to get rewarded for it.
Massively, yeah. One of the best places which I've seen, apart from the Forum of course, which I've seen live stuff, and was there last night, was Hoochie Coochie in Newcastle, which is a great venue. But I wasn't able to go a couple of days ago, but they had a jazz band playing, and they're like 15, 16-year-olds.
Nice.
So there was drummer, keyboard, trumpet, and guitar. Or bass, which one was. I saw footage of it, so I was blown away.
Okay.
And the trumpet player is 16. And I'm like, this is amazing. And they're playing Hoochie Coochie. I was like, good for you guys.
Yeah.
You know, just do what you love, and that's it. I've got a record. I've got a radio show on Method Radio, which is on playing the stuff I like, and I'm lucky that I have bands sending me stuff to play as well. But I always end every single show with, and I've made it my mantra really, which sort of goes back to Bill and Ted, which is literally just be excellent to each other, just be nice. It's as simple as that really, and I always try and end sort of like, be nice.
Yeah.
That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
And just that's it.
It is. So before we just about that, where can people if they want to follow the Method Radio or Darlington? Where's the best to find out?
Right. Okay. Check out everything on Facebook
Right.
or Instagram. Just look up Method Radio. It's based in Newcastle. If you want to listen to it, it's usually on from 5 o'clock till 10, 11, 12 o'clock every day, 7 days a week. And you can do it on your desktop via Mixlr, Mixlr, or you can just download the Mixlr app and then just look at Method Radio. If you want to check any of my old shows out, you're more than welcome to. Just look at Mr. Watson on Mixcloud.
Perfect. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure and an honour really, because I like to be a bit of a long time coming this conversation.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
But before we do go, I'm going to leave you the final word, and I will say those life is people. Final word's yours, James.
Just be nice.
Well, they say that life is people, and that people are angels, and that angels are devils, and the devils are me and you.